What do you think is the most important day of the year? We've got plenty to choose from. You've got like Christmas Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day coming up. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a unique, beautiful, and really personalised gift that is suitable for any occasion. But before we crack on with that, if you're a fan of reverse glass, sign painting, gold leaf, digital processes and much more, then you're in the right place because that's all this channel's about, and I try to release a video every couple of weeks. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, there's a link to my Patreon in the description. For a small monthly fee, I reward my patrons with a different vector design every month, early access to the videos, but from now on I'm going to start sort of upping my game with that. But if I make myself something in a month like new brushes or a new design, I'm just going to upload them to Patreon as I make them, because this helps me keep the lights on and keep things going, but I want my patrons to feel like they're getting their money's worth as well. So keep your eye on the page. I'm going to start uploading a lot more stuff over the coming months. If Patreon seems like a bit too much of a commitment and you're just thinking, I want to buy that geezer a drink, well, there's always the YouTube super thanks button, and whenever anyone uses it, I am super thankful. So last but not least, I've put a link to the Happy Gilder Facebook group in the description. It's 500 plus strong, all amateur to professional glass artists sharing work, helping each other out, giving each other tips. If this is something you're really interested in, I'd strongly advise going on there. It's such a good place to be. Anyway, that out of the way, let's crack on with it.
So I've started here in Photoshop, and this is a file that I've made where each individual letter is its own layer. It's still live text, so I can edit it. I'm making this file available free to my patrons, so that'll be on the Patreon page, but for anyone else, if you wanted to buy it, I'm selling it for £2 in my Etsy shop. Or it's easy enough to make. You just kind of type individual letters and line them up, so whichever way you want to go about it. Now the font I've used is Arial Rounded, which is a free font. It should be on most computers, but if it's not, it will be included in both the Patreon file and the Etsy shop file. Now, getting started, all I need to do is get my layers up. So I'll go to Window and Layers. And what you can see here, each of these groups is a horizontal row. So if I just hide group 1, you can see the whole top row of letters is hidden. And within these groups are individual letters. Like I say, all live text and can all be edited. Included in the file, depending on whether you wanted to use it, is a border, and there's also a grid view. So it depends what sort of look you prefer. I'm going to go without either of these because I'm going to do this on the back of a mirror and I want to preserve as much of the mirrored surface as I can. So for those of you who are new to Photoshop or have a basic understanding of layers, I can see why this might look a little bit daunting and a little bit messy, but you don't have to worry about this. We won't actually be doing anything in here. I just kind of wanted to get that up to show how it's grouped and how it can kind of be organised. The way I'm going to go about doing this is just by selecting each individual letter, and I use my move tool. If you're not on that, it's at the top, or you can press the V key and that will take you to the move tool. And the one thing I need to do is check on this little box here, which is auto select. So at the moment I'm manually selecting a layer group, and that means if I click anywhere on the screen, that's just going to move what's selected in my layers panel. If I go to auto select, I can automatically, by clicking on it, select any of these letters. You can see what that's done is opened group 2 and then gone down and selected the X. And that's exactly what I want. And I want to be able to select that, change it, and change the color of it. And the way to do that is just to double click, making sure you're actually touching the letter and not the white background. If you click the white background, you'll select the white background. So I'm just going to double click on this letter, and that highlights it so I can change it. Now one thing I'd advise when doing this, certainly when laying it out, even though it's going to be a little bit more work afterwards, is to change the color of the letter when you're kind of writing your words, and that's just because it's easier to kind of see where you've made a word already without having to kind of strain your eyes. So it's best to do the color change before you do the letter change, and I'll show you why. If I do the letter change, that's no longer selected, and I'd need to select it again to go back in to change the color. However, if you go and change the color, that's then still selected so that you can change the letter. So I'll go with R anyway, that's what I wanted, and I'm just going to go along and I'm going to write one of my dog's name. I will put them both in here, but just going to start by writing Rambo. Change the colour. It doesn't matter what colour this is, you know, they don't have to be the same, it's just so that you can see what you're doing. That's an M already, so I only need to change the colour. And there you go. Easy to see while you're working on it. You're eventually going to convert that back to black so that we can kind of make the vinyl mask. But one other thing, word search is obviously about there being hidden words in there, but within that I want to make a hidden message that's only going to be visible by lighting it up. So what I want to do with that is select every other letter. So for example, if I wanted to write the word U, I would change this L to Y. I would ignore the J, change the T to an O, ignore the D, change the E to a U. So it would be Y, O, U. And that will become evident while I do that later on, but it does mean as well that, you know, the secret message isn't going to be sort of deciphered without the kind of method we use at the end. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and put all of the words that I want into this. I'm also going to put my hidden message in it. Okay, so I've added all of my words and my secret message. Now I'm just going to do a bit of tidying up and then convert it back. So firstly, from clicking on all of these, it means all of these layer groups are going to be open. So I just want to kind of close these down, and that's easy enough. If you just click the arrow on one, it will then bring all the ones underneath it up to the top, and you can just close those down. So that's that tidied up a little bit. What I want to do now, just to make sure that everything looks balanced, that there's not any great big gaps, I'm going to go to Window, and I'm going to get my channels up. Now because I've changed my words to a kind of red colour, if I click on the red channel, you'll see all of those words, they're much clearer. And looking at that, I think that's pretty even. I just didn't want there to be any kind of big gaping holes where there wasn't any words. So that's fine. I'm going to save a copy of this because it's always handy when it comes to actually painting it. You know, might want to just make it easy on ourselves by seeing where we've put these words. And now all I want to do is combine this into one layer, and I want all of the letters to be black. And the easy way to do that is I'm just going to click on the top layer. I'm going to hide everything but the folders with the letters in. And then I'm going to press Control, Alt, Shift and E. And what that's done, if I hold the Alt key and then click on the eye icon on the side of the layer, that will show just that. So you can see it's just a complete pixel-based duplicate of all of those letters. And then all I want to do is convert them black, so I can either double click on this layer, or I can go to Layer, Layer Styles, Color Overlay. And then all I need to do is choose the color, which will be black. I'm going to flatten this image, which is here, and that'll ask me if I want to discard the hidden layers. Now I just saved a copy of the version with all of the live text, so yep, I can discard all of these. Then I'm going to go to Save As, or press Control Shift and S. And at the moment this is a TIFF, I want this as a JPEG. So let's make that as a JPEG. The name is fine. Just going to go Save. Okay, and that's that ready to take into Vinyl Master. So I'm going to run the rest of the process up to the painting as a time lapse. That's because I've made a few videos about making mirrors. So what I'll do is I'll put a link in the top right of the screen and in the description. So if you wanted to kind of watch a more in-depth tutorial about how to make a mirror, that's where you can find those. So anyway, let's just crack on and get this made.
Okay, so all the sandblasting's done. And then what I've done here is I've covered over the secret message letters with bits of vinyl. Now, you don't have to do this, but it does help when it comes to just painting these letters, because I'm going to paint them all different colours, and it would be quite easy to accidentally kind of paint one of the ones that are going to reveal the message. So just a little tip there, but again, you don't have to do that. So I've got some pastel colours going with robin egg blue, chamois, coral and violet. And you don't have to use pastel colours, but I'd recommend it because the letters that aren't going to be painted will look white and they'll really jump out if you're using sort of quite bold, dark colours. And I want them to kind of blend in with all of the kind of multicoloured letters. So just going to switch the camera angle, paint these now, and then move on to getting the kind of secret message part of it set up. Okay? Right, so I've painted all of the letters other than my secret message. Now moving on to my secret weapon, which is glow-in-the-dark paint. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, he said he weren't going to paint them letters. They were going to form the secret message. That's what I wanted you to think, because I didn't mess up at all and have to find a new way of making this work. Yeah, I did. I well messed up. I thought that the light would beam through the letters that I hadn't painted, but it pretty much lights them all up. So let's call this serendipity or a happy accident, because I reckon this new way is going to be even better. So this glow-in-the-dark paint, got it for £10 off Amazon. Says to apply it quite thickly, stir it up real good, paint it on, and put something white behind it. Now, it's charged by light, and that's a good thing because this is a light-up mirror. So when I turn it on, all of these things light up. It looks lovely in the dark. Then when I turn it off, only these remaining letters will be lit up, I hope. Let's see. Anyway, change the camera angle and get painting with this. Right, so I'll give this a bit of a shake first. And then get this seal off. Open it nice and gently so I don't splash it over myself. And that is some thick stuff. That's a proper paste. So that's pretty good. It means you'll be able to apply it thick. It says it takes between half hour and 3 hours to dry. But the mixing is all about the glow-in-the-dark crystals in it. So even though it looks quite sort of, opaque and sort of the same all the way, I'm going to follow the instructions, give myself the best chance. It also says that the glow, when sort of charged, lasts up to 12 hours, but is brightest for 5 hours after. Now, we're going to be charging this with the LED light, but it could also be sat in kind of direct sunlight all day. So, it's plenty of opportunity for it to charge up. So let's get this off here first, and then just start absolutely pasting this on. Right, so that's all the painting done. All I'm going to do now is use some LED strip lights to run around the inside of the frame, and that will kind of bring out that secret message what I haven't painted. So the ones I've got, picked them up off Amazon. They were a tenner, including delivery. And they are, and this is quite important, just get this out. If you look at them, they're a thin strip with like a plasticky raised bit. Now, that's important because these are the sort of thin variant of these. In the picture online, when you buy these, you might accidentally buy the other sort, which is sort of almost like a couple of mil thick and like sort of jellyish. And they're going to be difficult to get around corners on a frame, and they're also going to be probably a bit too thick. So anyway, I'm just going to move the camera and apply these and then get the whole thing set up. So with these particular lights, you see that as you move along, there's this line And the line spacing is where you can cut these with scissors. So once you've got it to the right length, you can just cut it at that part. And I mean, I don't think you can do much with what's left over. I always throw it away, but if any of you know of how to kind of use it and wouldn't mind just commenting to let me know, saves me throwing out all these LEDs every time. So I'm going to want to put this little bit in one of the corners, just so that that bit sticks out and it's not like sort of halfway up the frame or something. So if I start in this bottom corner here, run it around, and then cut it off when I don't need it. So it's got backing tape on it. Peel that off and then just start going around. Right, I'm happy to say that it worked. So here's the final piece. So if we take a closer look at this, it looks really nice in the dark, lit up. So going over here, you can see my dog Rambo diagonally down from here. Going across, there's Rocky, can't have Rocky without Rambo. Down at the bottom, there's ballet, because my missus is an absolute badass at ballet. And there's a load of others, don't want to give away all the secrets, but if I turn this off, there's the secret message. And obviously, these are personal to each person. This is a message to my wife, and this is a gift for her for Valentine's Day. So I hope she likes it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please subscribe to the channel and click the little thumbs up icon, and please share it with anyone else who you think might enjoy it. So till next time, cheers.